Everyone who jumps on GLP-1 expects to get the exact same results as Brian Johnson, Serena Williams, or even Andy Cohen. They think when the weight comes off, they'll magically look lean, toned, and athletic. But the truth is, for a lot of people, when they drop the weight, they end up looking more like Scott Disick, James Corden, or Whoopi Goldberg. And the difference between these two groups isn't genetics, it isn't their GLP-1 dosage, and it definitely isn't the amount of weight they've lost, because losing the weight is only half the equation. Look at Scott Disick. He lost a ton of weight, but he doesn't have that strong aesthetic look that someone like Andy Cohen have built. And there's no hate to any of these people I've just mentioned at all. It's honestly already impressive that they managed to lose massive amount of weight and got healthier. And this isn't medical advice, and you should always consult your doctor first. But as a coach who have helped over 100 clients on GLP-1s actually build the dream body, if your goal is to actually look lean and toned, in this video I'll show you exactly what your body can look like when you lose weight on GLP-1, breaking down different outcomes at key body fat checkpoint. Checkpoint 1 is 25% body fat for men, 33% for women. Checkpoint 2 is 20% for men, that's 28% for women. And we're going all the way down to sub 12% for men and sub 20% for women. And I'll tell you exactly what it takes to get the best possible outcome in each checkpoint. That way you know exactly what you need to look for to look your absolute best when the weight comes off. This is going to save you so much time from falling into the trap of focusing on the wrong things that won't actually drive results. And if you have no idea which of these checkpoints is closest to you right now, I made a free body fat calculator you can use. Link in the description. Just plug in a few measurements so you know exactly which stage you're in, and you can also use it to track your progress. Let's start with checkpoint 1. 25% body fat for men and 33% for women. By the way, I'm going to use examples from both genders throughout this video. But the first example is Andy Cohen, pre-GLP-1. He clearly lifts. You can see a little bit of mass in his shoulders and upper body, but zero real definition. No abs, no cuts. Now, look at the complete opposite side of the spectrum. Elon Musk from the famous yacht pictures. He's the same body fat percentage, but Elon clearly doesn't lift. But here's the brutal truth. At 25% body fat, the physical difference between having a lot of muscle and not lifting at all is basically indistinguishable. If you're from Alabama, that means it's hard to tell the difference. Here's another image of Elon Musk at the same day. When you compare it side by side to Andy Cohen, even though Andy's obviously been lifting in the gym and he has muscle hiding under the blanket of fat, the difference in appearance isn't that big. Because your appearance doesn't actually change that much, getting to checkpoint 1, your main priority, getting to checkpoint 1, isn't about having the perfect muscle building routine. Honestly, your sole focus getting to checkpoint 1 is just to be dropping fat, because at this checkpoint, losing fat gives you the highest ROI. Dropping fat here isn't about looking shredded, it's about immediate, massive upgrade to your overall health and daily energy levels. And the best part is losing fat, getting to this stage is incredibly easy. Your body is carrying so much excess stored energy, if you're from Alabama, that means stored fat, that it would prefer to burn it off during a deficit versus burning off lean mass. You don't need a flawless workout plan. Honestly, to get to this checkpoint, you don't even need to step a foot inside a gym. And I'm saying this as a guy who literally sells workout programs for a living. And I was in this island called Sardinia in Italy 2 years ago. It's a blue zone, which means it's where men live the longest and is the leanest. And while I was there, it was so hard to find a gym. Yet, that's where men are leanest and live the longest. In Sardinia, they don't work out to lose fat. Italians have the lowest rates of overweight people in Europe, not because they have the highest rate of gym membership. Actually, it's quite the opposite. They are one of the countries with the lowest gym membership. They are the leanest because they walk everywhere, because they eat exercise activity thermogenesis, the actual workouts you do inside the gym, it only burns about 5% of your total calories burn. While NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, small body movements like you walking, fidgeting, standing, makes up 15% of your daily calories burn, 3 times as much as the impact of the workouts you do inside the gym. Honestly, when I think about it, one of the reasons I think Italian has so high NEAT is not only because they walk everywhere, because they use a ton of hand gestures.
L'entità Kameramann Antonio Margheriti und Antonios Kameraassistent Dominique de Cocco.
So the game plan for checkpoint 1 is stop stressing over what type of workout you need to do. Shift all that mental energy into simply being more active, because the biggest benefit isn't look here, because basically it looks the same here whether you're carrying muscle or not. The biggest benefit getting to this checkpoint is health and well-being, and the impact is massive. I can't stress that enough. If you get to checkpoint 1 by lifting weight in the gym, great. But you can also get there by just hitting 5 to 10k steps a day. So let's move to checkpoint 2, which is under 20% body fat for men and under 28% for women. I'm going to use female examples here, but the exact same mechanics apply to guys. Look at Serena Williams. When she dropped weight, she looked absolutely sculpted, toned arms, visible abs, and incredible body proportions. Now, look at Amy Schumer. She recently lost a lot of weight, and honestly, she looks great and is significantly healthier, but she doesn't have that same athletic shape or definition that Serena has. What's the difference here? Muscle. When you get down to this checkpoint, the amount of muscle you carry dictates how the fat sits on your body. Let's go back to Andy Cohen. Post GLP-1 now, he's at checkpoint 2 and he looks ripped. And comparing him to Leonardo DiCaprio at the same body fat percentage as post GLP Andy Cohen, at this stage, let's say if you're a man, you're sitting at 20% body fat, you can look like you're at 15% body fat if you have muscle. If you're a woman at 28% body fat, you can look like you're at 23% body fat if you carry muscle. But if you don't carry muscle, it can be the complete opposite. You can be at 28% body fat as a woman and look like you're at 33% body fat. And that's the same with men. You can be 20% body fat for a man and look like you're 25% body fat if you don't carry muscle. And don't get me wrong, losing fat from checkpoint 1 to checkpoints 2 still brings massive health benefits. So your main focus should still be to lose fat. But if you want to look your absolutely best appearance-wise, when you get to checkpoint 2, you should do resistance training. Because walking 10,000 steps a day is great for dropping fat, but it won't do anything for building muscle. That's why you need to do resistance training if you want to look your absolute best. And here's the good news if you want to do resistance training, especially if you're a novice, is that you're sitting on a gold mine. It's called the newbie gains, because the first 20 pounds of muscle for a guy and the first 10 pounds of muscle for a woman, you're basically free. You don't need a crazy 6-day bodybuilding split to get them. Look at people that do track and field, swimmers and fighters. They just focus on functional strength and have incredible physiques. So all you need to do is basically hit your compound movements 2 to 3 times a week. That is all you need to do in the beginning, and you can see your body changes on a weekly basis. And it is incredibly fun. The ROI on your time is massive in the beginning.
30,
Now, for the diet. If you're on GLP-1 and losing weight, you don't have to track calories because you're already in a calorie deficit. But you should track your proteins though, because the leaner you get, the less stored body fat you have and the less stored body fat your body wants to burn. That's when it starts looking for other sources to burn, like your hard-earned muscle. Eating a high-protein diet, and if you combine that with resistance training 2 to 3 times a week, it will help you keep the muscle when the weight comes off. Because doing resistance training and eating high-protein diet will send clear signals to your nervous system that you need this muscle to survive. So please burn the fat instead. If all of this feels a little bit overwhelming and you just want a proven system handed to you, I do offer one-to-one coaching. I help tons of clients, including people on GLP-1s, actually build their dream body so they don't look like a melted candle when the weight comes off. If you're curious, hit the second link in the description. You can see results of my past client and see the prices I charge. Finally, we have checkpoint 3. This is dipping below 12% body fat for men and below 20% for women. If you carry a lot of muscle down to this checkpoint, you end up looking like Brian Johnson. He is undeniably shredded. He also kind of looked like an erect penis. Anyways, if you get down to this checkpoint without any muscle, you'll end up looking like Scott Disick at the peak of his GLP-1 weight loss. He's sub 12% here. Obviously, he doesn't look too well. He looks frail and honestly reminds me of Christian Bale in The Machinist. I think aiming for checkpoint 3 is a massive mistake for 99% of people out there. Because here's the thing, if you're on GLP-1, GLP alone is rarely going to get you to checkpoint 3. It's rarely going to get you below 12% body fat. Scott Disick is an anomaly. If you're from Alabama, that means he's one of the rare ones. To get this lean, you need to start doing additional things to GLP-1 to continue to lose weight, like calorie counting, meal prepping, or doing an extreme diet, which I honestly don't think is worth it, especially considering, in my opinion, checkpoint 2 looks better than checkpoint 3. But why do people even chase checkpoint 3, you're probably wondering? It is because when people get disappointed when they're losing weight, they don't look like how they imagined with the weight off. So a lot of people continue to lose weight to checkpoint 3 because they want a six-pack. But here's something you should know before chasing a six-pack or checkpoint 3 is that genetics have the biggest impact on having visible abs. What I mean by that is that you can lose body fat, but it's not in your control if it's belly fat you're losing or fat from your ass cheeks. And here's an example. Shout out to James Smith.
And I've got a bit of a weird body, but it's not actually even weird. It's actually quite normal, but I was made to feel like I had a weird body. I'm about 11% body fat. The last time I did a DEXA, I actually had more body fat than this. I was about 11.2%.
Six-pack abs generally shows up for men anywhere between 10 to 20% body fat. For women, it's 18 to 28%. And that is a huge range. And where you end up on that spectrum is mostly down to your genetics. James says he's around 11% body fat according to the DEXA scan. But obviously, his six-pack still doesn't show, and that's because of his genetics. When you lose weight, you have no control over where your body decides to lose fat. For James, it seems like his legs, arms loses fat first. His belly is probably one of the last places where he loses fat. He probably needs to be below 10% body fat for his abs to pop. And this doesn't just apply to James. This is super common. Social media make it look like everyone that loses weight automatically have a six-pack, but it is quite rare to have a six-pack. It's like only 8% of all men in the US have a six-pack. It's literally more common to be a millionaire. I think like 8.5% of the population in the US are millionaires. But losing body fat will make you feel great regardless if you end up with visible abs or not. Benefits are the same when you lose body fat regardless if it's from your belly or your ass cheeks. You get higher testosterone, better libido, better hormone profiles, less inflammation, lower risk of cardiovascular disease. You get healthier and healthier the more fat you lose until you hit your optimal zone. For men, that is between 15 and 20%. For women, that is 23 to 28%. If you get too lean chasing checkpoint 3 in pursuit of abs, here's what can happen when your body fat percentage getting too lean. Your sleep can get worse, testosterone drops. For women, it can mess with your menstrual cycle, energy levels can tank, cortisol shoots up, it can mess with your appetite, and your immune system can get compromised, making you more prone to getting sick. Your body might look good, might look toned at a lower body fat percentage, but don't expect to feel good at a lower body fat percentage just because you might look good.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
A lot of people want a six-pack because they think it'll finally make them happy, but a lot of people don't realize how much happiness they need to sacrifice to get one. What is even the point of losing all that fat, coming this far, just to come that far and not be happy? Shout out to Kardashian, I got that from them. Stay at your optimal zone, aka checkpoint 2, build some muscle, enjoy the flexibility, enjoy your life, and you'll still look good. Chasing a checkpoint is completely useless if you can't even lose weight to begin with. And the reality is that a lot of people that are on GLP-1, they have to stop taking it because the side effects becomes completely unbearable. If you don't have a protocol to manage them, it could derail your entire fat loss phase. If you want exactly how to overcome the most common side effects, click on this video. I'll show you there. Also, click the link in the description if you want to use the body fat calculator. And also, the second link is to work with me one-on-one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay healthy, keep striving, and I hope I see you over there maybe. Peace.